All right. Well, today the presentation will be coming to us from Bangladesh, and we have a few presenters here, but we're going to be led by Wasiq Ameen, and he and his team. They are all in Bangladesh, and we're going to get a bit about graduate study abroad. So, Wasiq, go ahead. We're all ears, so go for it.
Thank you so much, Patrick, for your wonderful introduction. I'm just going to share my screen here. Just let me know if you guys can see it. I hope you can. Yep. All right. Sure. So good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everyone around the globe, I guess, watching this, and we'll be watching this later in the future as well. So first of all, we are really honored and we thank everyone for arranging this wonderful conference, which is by the Lakeland University in Japan. And we will be presenting the latest trend of graduate study abroad from a Bangladesh perspective. And like Patrick said, we are actually housed under Shabash Fakibaj LLC. This is a company that's a non-profit educational company. I'll be explaining about it just a bit in short. So this is just a layout of what we're going through. First, we're going to give you the introductions. Then we will talk about how we gathered our data and our findings. And finally, the summary. I would definitely keep the entire presentation on point, and hopefully the question and answers will come and we'll solve accordingly. So just about us, about Shabash Fakibaj, like I said, we're a multinational nonprofit educational organization. We are run by current and alumni graduates from Bangladesh who are studying and have studied in universities all over the world. Our primary goal is to provide authentic information and development opportunities to the graduate students of Bangladesh. And a more significant aspect will be so the students can get support from students, because like there are agencies and stuff like that where sometimes it's a bit controversial because they're not students themselves, but they promote students to go abroad and study, and usually those students might end up in situations that are not suitable for their education. We try to minimize that because we are students as well. We were students, and we try to guide them to the proper directions. At this moment, we have a great social media outreach. We have more than 100 instructional videos on social medias. We have reached more than 100,000 students. They have subscribed, or they're regular subscribers to our channels and Facebook groups. Also, each of our videos do get hundreds and thousands of views weekly and monthly. So that's about us in short. As for our team today, I am Wasiq Ameen. I am the CEO of Shabash Fakibaj, and I have completed my master's from University of Texas at Arlington in USA. My bachelor's was in Buet in Bangladesh. And we have Toukir Ahmed Chowdhury here with us today. He is a student of Chittagong University of Engineering and Technology. We have Mohammad Arman Akash, who is he's our content representative, and he has graduated from Asamun University of Science and Technology, also in Bangladesh. We do not have Muhammad Mushfiqul with us today because he had some family engagements and other things to attend to, but he has also a bachelor's in civil engineering from Military Institute of Science and Technology in Bangladesh. And we have Fakul Islam for our technical support in case anything goes wrong. So moving on to our main focus of this slide. Of this presentation, I'm sorry. So from October 2020 to November 2021, we, like I said, we are an educational organization. So we do arrange monthly, or like we try to arrange more than one webinar per month, but usually it's one monthly session. So in those webinar sessions, we do go through registrations, and through those registrations, we actually try to, when we started in October 2020, we knew some aspects that the students were going through, they wanted information on. So we brought in international speakers, the people who are currently in, like I said, in universities all over the world. So we connect those students who are there with the students that we have at home in Bangladesh so that they can get the questions out. There are lots of factors, like there are profile development, there are score, GRE, IELTS, and TOEFL exams. Like it's crazy. Like there's so many stuff that someone might actually ask. I'm sure you guys know it pretty well. So, what we had from October 2020 to November 2021, we actually were able to gather data from more than 1,000 participants who have registered to all these webinars. And along with the registrations, like we do take the name and email address so that we can reach out to them for the registration links. But we also gathered their the things that they wanted to know. So primarily, we had the country of interest that they wanted to study abroad, their academic background or the department that they're studying in, and their primary concerns, that what actually they wanted to know more about. And this summarization of presentation that we have here is actually the findings of those data that we gathered. There are some interesting points that really helped us, push our organization better for the students. So the first finding that we have here is a graph. I'm just going to go over it shortly. So more than half, like 58% of the Bangladeshi students who have graduated, they have selected US as their first target. So yeah, and then we have Canada, that's 18%, and then Germany, Japan, UK, Australia, Turkey, South Korea, Sweden, and then there are some aspects of others. The thing is, the point to note here actually is that this is the first target. So to some people, it is, I mean, the one thing that we do know, although I will be jumping to a conclusion that is not the point of our presentation today, but to some extent, the reason why US and Canada gets the priority above every other country is because of the language barrier. Because we do connect in English, like after Bangla, English is like in universities and other places, English is the medium of instruction that we have. Bangladeshi students they might have some hesitation for presentation. That's a whole different ballgame, but usually they are skilled in English. So they also try to go for those countries where the English speaker has a better advantage. So that's understandable here. But I mean, from finding two, we do have an interesting aspect. So we also asked about the second choice. Like, for example, you do not get into USA or Canada or whatever it is. What will be your second choice? And this is where things started to get interesting. 60% of the students, so out of 1,000, there will be 600 or more, they selected none or not sure. So that was a big concerning factor for us, that these people, these graduates, because in life, we do say that, like it's like we motivate people, but like I said, in the other sector, we do deal with depressed students and like the presentations beforehand. Patrick, just one request, like is the azan is going on, is that bothering you, or should I continue my presentation?
Oh, it's fine.
It's fine.
I can hear it
You can
slightly. But
okay, so this is working. The mic is good.
no
Okay,
worries.
yeah. All right, sure. So so like I said, that when it comes to the second preference, most students they do not have it, and that's what we pushed it further in our subsequent web sessions and other stuff. Anyway, so like you can see that none was provided by 52% of the students. Canada was the second choice to most of the students. Germany is actually, if I go back to my previous slide, so we had 9% of the students selecting Germany as first choice, and we have 9% of the students selecting Germany as the second choice. So anyway, like Germany is a country that had a very solid footing, not that much of a footing, but people who were targeting Germany, they looked pretty consistent, but the other factors came in. Anyway, let me just move on to the findings. So, and another factor that we had is the background of the students, the department that they graduated from. Actually, the team members around me here today, they're also graduates from engineering. And in our, I would say not only in Bangladesh, I would say in Southeast Asia, like we have a tendency, or we really love our engineering subjects. The outcomes are pretty much there, that we do usually do good in these subjects. But so similarly in graduate study abroad cases, we don't have that much of like non-engineering students are substantially less interested for graduate applications abroad. And this is another thing that we are really proud of, that we also asked them what concerned them for their graduate applications, because they do know that graduate applications, masters or PhD in foreign countries, apart from maintaining and managing yourself, your mental well-being and other stuff, you do have to have the skills to be there. Like graduate application, I mean, you cannot just study there just because you can. I mean, you should have a passion, you should have the skills for it, or else it's difficult, or else like you may not even obtain your master's or PhD. So 42% of our students, of our participants, they are concerned about research and publications. And that is an aspect that even we do feel as a country, as a developing nation, like we do have other priorities on our national scale. So, but that is why maybe like that's where the developed countries have a better standpoint, because they have a lot of infrastructures ready for research and students can push accordingly. In our country, sometimes students do feel left out, although we try to merge that gap as much as possible. But like I said, the data represents that. They feel concerned about research and publications. The next thing that they do have concerns about is personal website or LinkedIn. So these things come up because they want to, we always try to, we make sure that the students do have a proper professional profile, because I'm pretty sure you as a teacher and all the professors and academic people I've worked with, the first thing they do is they look you up online. That's a smart thing to do, or else how can I evaluate? How will I talk to you? And that's also another concern that these students have. So although we do have the data that significantly tells us that there's a lack of it, the first thing that we are proud of is our participants, they know their lackings, like they are concerned about it. So unless they can recognize it, we wouldn't have been able to develop it. So anyway, these data, they do come in. And the next of the stuff, letter of recommendation, that's kind of like linked to research and publications, because unless you're working in it, no one is going to give you a recommendation. So these two are combined to some extent. And then we have the CV, SOP, and the test scores come later. That is also another interesting aspect, that when we started back in actually in 2019, people thought GRE, IELTS, TOEFL were the only parameters out there. But we put forward the message that the academic people you're going to work with or you're going to push with for your master's, they're not going to research on GRE, IELTS, and TOEFL with you guys. They're going to push their research. So along with these scores, focus on those research and other stuff as well, and you'll get the positive outcome. So I hope I haven't been too long. I'm going to summarize it and then move on to question answers. So to summarize, the Western countries, USA and Canada, are the primary targets of graduate applicants from Bangladesh, understandably for the language barrier. Sorry, 60% of the students are not sure of their secondary targets, which was a concern. Non-engineering students are substantially less interested for graduate applications abroad. We have a huge population of students each year, so this is also something that concerned us. Engineering students are not 50% or 60% of graduates. Like I think that should be around 25 or 30%. So the 70% of the students are getting substantially less motivated to push it. We're not telling anyone to go abroad, but we want to make sure they have all the options. That's what humanity should look like. Lack of research is the primary concern for profile development, and that was another aspect that we focused on. So like I said, this is not a research that we just conducted and throw it to people and in sessions. But first of all, we are extremely honored that we were able to provide these information to you guys through this conference, and also these findings have already assisted us to guide students better. So here are 3 points for that. The first thing we do is we guide students to keep grounded to reality, because they did not put a second or a third option. Even when I was applying abroad, of course, I applied to USA, I applied to Germany, I applied to Sweden, I wanted to apply to Japan, but the deadline was over because I applied from the MEC scholarship, but I missed something. So I wish there was someone who would have told me before I graduated that push that further. If I had some documents ready, I could have applied for Japan as well. So anyway, those are the things that we try to promote positively. Next, we particularly focus on non-engineering student development now. It is challenging. We are still working on it, but we really want those students to feel in our platform, Shabash Fakibaj, we always put the faces, like we don't have presenters. The presenters are the students who are there or who are working. So they create a positive value that these people are there, they're successful, so the students feel motivated by default. We're trying on that. And finally, regarding the research and publication sector particularly, so the research assistants and the teaching assistants that are working with us from all over the world, we do conduct sessions with them. For these students particularly, we have segments. We actually have another platform who supports us, Aborton, and there the students conduct classes, online classes, and we do have some publications already. So these students have been able to get the help that they sometimes are not able to from their respective institutions. And the publications and the research, we can actually push these students and they're more confident regarding these aspects and their profiles reflect that. So of course, we have a lot more to learn. This is a great, like I said, this is a great honor for us that we're able to share our findings to such an international area, such an international platform. So Patrick, that was all from us actually. We'll love to hear your questions and questions to my teammates as well. So that's about it. Like I said, we thank you guys for having us here today.
Great. Thank you, Wasiq. I think I'll stop the recording here. Just
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
then we can